One second. All right. Let's see here. Portrait. Arslan, what's going on, guys? What is going on? Amir Stacy. Oh, I've been having to fix my YouTube account all day. There's all sorts of issues with my ads and AdSense account, and God, it's so complicated. Ay, ay, ay. It's taking the life out of me. Oh my gosh. Appreciate that, Charles. Here we go. We're over on TikTok as well now. Got heavy snow in Charlotte, but didn't stick. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. Unfortunate. Been a couple chances for Charlotte this year. Yeah, Charles, I really appreciate that, man. Let's see here. Cincy, Ohio, snow amount. Well, I don't know. How much snow did you guys get? I think you guys didn't end up with much. For some reason, it doesn't show the join button to get to you. Yeah, Dalton. Does it show it shows the regular sub button, right, over there on YouTube? I had a bunch of issues with like to set up memberships and all the stuff. You have to set up an AdSense account on YouTube. And I finally got to my watch hours where I could do that, and I spent all this time setting it up. And it set me up as an organization, and I was supposed to be set up as an individual. So I had to go and I had to close all of my accounts, reopen all of my accounts on YouTube that are attached to my YouTube channel as an individual, do all this tax information, and now it's like, okay, you can re-link your AdSense account in 27 days, meaning I can't even do anything with memberships or anything like that on YouTube for 27 days now. It's such a... I'm so annoyed. It's such a bad system. Such a bad system. Anyways, after that, I'll be good to go. Appreciate you, Dalton, though. What's going on, Anna? We're going to look at all this stuff. We're going to look at our... March out looks pretty interesting. Upstate New York could see March snow. Yeah, definitely. It runs like our government. Yeah. I mean, it's just... It's crazy what you got to do. It's crazy what you got to do on YouTube for like monetization and setting up your account. There's like 5 different websites and stuff you have to go through. And, you know, you got to do the tax information and then all the identification and send them over your driver's license. And if you mess one thing up or one letter up or anything up, they make you close all your accounts and start over again. That's basically what happened to me. So yeah, but middle of next month, I should have things up and running. When will it ever... Oh, wait, Anna, what did you say? Did you ask your questions? Where was it? Anna, you never asked your question. We had 2 to 3 inches back on Sunday in Southwest Ohio. On the backside of the system. That's not bad. Yeah, it stinks. That is not bad. Yeah, and I had all these plans. I was making like extra content for YouTube too, and there's no point because I can't even get any memberships now for another 3 weeks. Do you think... Could South Alabama get any snow? Sorry for spamming. I'm just excited. Well, let's look at some things. And I talked about this in my video I just uploaded. There's some things, some very interesting looks for March. It's crazy that it could just continue to be cold out east. Here is our EPO in March. This is our Eastern Pacific Oscillation. Wanting to go negative. Get pretty negative. Oh, sorry, I gotta crack my neck. My neck's hurting. So what is this associated with? A ridge of high pressure building in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. And we can see that when we look, let's go out into North America and watch this. We can see that when we go up into our heights, 500 millibar height anomalies. Watch this. Okay. Watch what's happening out here specifically as we push into March. Here we go. See that? You see this? All of this warm air that wants to start building up into Alaska, and this is in the eastern Pacific. Well, that can start to send, can start to give us some kind of northwesterlies and bring this cold air down to the Gulf and pick up that Gulf moisture and run up the coast. This is when you get some good, a lot of cold air down to the States, especially out here in the east, and you get winter storm tracks again here. I mean, I'm just the messenger. It's crazy to think that we could have a very active start to March as well. I mean, look at this. This is some serious cold air and some serious storm potential here. Kind of an omega block into there. So that's why you see some of these models showing crazy system after system pushing into March. Anything's possible right now. Southern snow is possible again in March if we see this type of pattern hold. Models aren't good at looking at precipitation super far out, but they're pretty good at detecting troughing patterns, which is what we're talking about. So, you know, you see the GFS with one kind of northeastern kind of clipper, and then a big, this right here, who knows where this is going? We don't know. Obviously, this could end up being a big Midwestern Central Plains storm. This could end up being a big kind of Ohio Valley, New England storm. Or this could end up being maybe some snow close down into the south again, and then being one of our coastal, you know, nor'easter. I'd say they all have all of those are kind of equal chances right now because this is 180 plus hours out. Bunch of cold air right after that. Look at this right after it. What is the GFSC? Another snow system up here, potentially through the Mid-Atlantic as well. Right after. Now, again, I'm not going to believe exactly how, and this is almost southern snow again. I'm not going to believe exactly how this future radar shows, but I started off by showing you our teleconnections, jet stream, ridging patterns that do suggest a very wintry pattern moving into March. This would be maybe a third system. We'd have to watch this. The Euro has quite a lot too. This wants to bring another almost nor'easter style event here. I mean, we got more snow back in the west. This is a very active start to March, potentially. Let's go into our Euro. And the Euro, some clipper there, clipper there, clipper there. Maybe a New England snow system there. Maybe a big, this would potentially be a big nor'easter there. Snow there. Again, look at this. Some potential for a nor'easter, big Midwestern or Ohio Valley storm. Why again, I don't pay attention this far out to where these models put the snow or the rain because they don't know what's going to happen out there. What I pay attention to is the troughing and the ridging that we're seeing, because as I showed, we're seeing when I see massive ridging out on the Euro like this into March, and the Euro's not too bad at seeing ridging this far out. When I see massive ridging out in the west. And then I see an agreement in our teleconnections from the Euro with a EPO, Eastern Pacific Oscillation, that wants to go negative. And a GFS, let's see what our GFS shows. Look at that. Look at that EPO. Look how negative this EPO gets on the GFS. This would be such cold air. This would be cold air in a potentially wintry pattern out east. Now we'd want to see a negative NAO too. And our NAO is not getting too negative. So, you know, this still would suggest wintry pattern cold air out east, but I have a feeling this might go negative. You can see this wanting to go negative, and then it kind of flattens out. I have a feeling this might dive down as well. And if that happens, yeah, there's going to be 3-4 more storms out east. Potential for the South, Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley as well, and Midwest. So, you know, I know some people want this to go away, but yeah, I mean, you can see it on our weeklies. Look what our GFS does on our weeklies with our NAO. That's very negative. Really quickly, I'll answer some questions here, but really quickly, I want to show you this as well. If we go into surface, temperature, let's just go out 10-day anomalies. I mean, look at this, guys, through March 1st on our Euro. That's cold, okay? Let's move forward in time. Look at that. Through the first week of March, we still have cold air displacement out here. This is going to end up being one of our coldest winters out east. This is going to end up being like a top 10 coldest winters out east on record if we see this happen into March. So, something to look at. I'll show you what the GFS deterministic sees here as well. Same thing, except for the GFS has us even colder, especially up here in the Mid-Atlantic. Canadian. Look at that. You guys believe me yet? It isn't guaranteed, but is another nor'easter chance possible? I think we're going to have another chance at a nor'easter. You can see how easily they can fall apart. A minor shift east, you get no snow. A minor shift west, you get all rain. But we may have 2 more chances at nor'easters before winter's over based on this pattern. And probably 1 more chance to get snow down in the south based on this pattern as well. We've had active marches like this in the past. We haven't had a march like this recently where we've had a good snow chance in the south or mid-Atlantic. But you have to remember, in the 2010s and the 2000s and the 90s, we did see some marches where we got snow back down in the south and snow up here in this region. And the Midwest has had some in some of these recent marches. But this is the type of setup that gave us those type of snowy patterns in March back in the day. And we're seeing it here. So I know some people want winter to end, but this is not, it's just not what we're seeing. Okay. Now, blizzard of 93 hit western North Carolina. Yeah. Yep. I think it was March 13th. I think it was March 13th when we had, feet in the southeast of snow. Snow in Louisiana, March 13th. We had snow all down here, all up the coast. Could we get something like that? Of course, that's super rare. You need the perfect thing to happen. But with this troughing pattern out east, it's not impossible to see a big kind of sweeping snowstorm in March with this type of pattern. There's no signal yet that I'm staring at being like, whoa, but just because it's too far out. But yeah, this is a good pattern if you want a chance for that. I mean, look, here's our Climate Prediction Center, guys, through March 5th. And look what we got going on out here. Below average temps still. When the groundhog didn't see a shadow, he was just thinking of the East Coast, the East. So crazy that we're still seeing this type of pattern. I feel like we've been seeing this all winter, even though a lot of people out east haven't seen a lot of snow. We've had one of the coldest winters ever. Some of the biggest nor'easters came in March. Yes. I think it's like 4 of the 10 biggest, or 4 or 5 of the biggest nor'easters in recorded history came in March. March and February. Appreciate the follows. Appreciate the subs, guys. What's up, Kyle? Do you think Georgia has a chance at snow again in March? Yeah, everyone does out east, even in the south, just based on how cold it's going to be. I'm not going to say a good chance because I don't see anything great on the models, but what I see on the models is a ton of cold air pushing back down into the south and east into March. Very cold temperature anomalies out here, and we're going to have a Gulf that's warming. So a lot more energy and moisture availability. So, Abby, what's going on? Yeah, they do. They do, Abby. They do have a chance for that. Fade, what is up? Might be a bit far out, but what do temps look like on the first through the first and second weeks of March? Well, right now the first week of March looks very, very cold, and potentially the second as well. We were just talking about that. We were just going through that. This is our Canadian ensemble to start off March. Look at that cold air out east. All right. This is that's our Canadian. This is our Euro through March 6th. What do we notice? Cold temperature anomalies out here. This is our GFS. Doesn't really matter which one I show you. They're all seeing this type of pattern. So this GFS keeps some colder temperatures up into the north as well. and potentially some down into Western California. It really has a ridge pushing really kind of heat through here. But they all see below average temperatures in the east again. Again. Is Central Ohio getting snow overnight? Let's go to our Namconis. Yeah, there is going to be kind of clipper. It's probably going to be pretty light, but there is some snow moving across the region. Huh? What does our Nam think? Yeah, you know, we're seeing the possibility for a dusting to 2 inches across portions of the Ohio Valley, out east. Not seeing anything impressive. What does our Euro think from this? What's our 18Z Euro think from this? Same thing. Inch or 2 into Ohio. Maybe more up in the northeast, up towards Erie. Not a ton. Up towards Cleveland. But it'll be moving through. When does it get warmer in Maryland? Maybe the 3rd week. Like, it's going to warm up a little. We're going to have days that warm up, right? We're about to go through a little bit of a warmth. A little bit of a warm up here, but nothing major. We can look at our temperature anomalies. We'll get back to normal after all this moves out. You can see here, getting into next week, next Tuesday, Wednesday. But then we expect things to drastically get cold again. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then look at this. Here comes the cold air wanting to continue to push back into the east again. So we'll have a tiny warm up. When do I expect winter weather to end? In the winter weather and very cold shots of air to stop out east. Maybe the 3rd or 4th week of March. We may even just to kick off March. It looks so cold. So we'll see how long that lasts. But again, we've been talking about why we expected an extended winter, especially for the east. Let's see. What's going on, Kimber? What's going on, guys? Why isn't it letting me see? Purdue Laddie. Low key. Jen, what's going on? It's Brittany Beach. Tornadoes and hurricanes season is going to be wild. Yeah, it typically is with a weak La Nina and Enzo neutral cycle. Those both may be above average. Do you think Southern Maryland will get another storm? Southern Maryland? I mean, yeah. I mean, there's I can't tell you if it's gonna or not, but we have a pattern for more snow out east and along the coast. So your chances are definitely there. Not bad. We're not seeing a big heat up and early exit into spring out east. We're seeing a cold and snowy March right now with our outlooks. So is the Climate Prediction Center. I mean, this is just through the first week of March, but I just showed you guys why it looks like this is going to extend even farther into March. Cold air, and we'll see what happens with the precipitation, but Climate Prediction Center wants cold air and below average air and above average moisture out here to start March, and that's just it's a recipe for winter storms. Doesn't get much more simpler than that. I mean, cold and moist in winter, snow. If the temps, so everywhere out there really has a chance. If the temp is 35 but wind chill is 27, can it freeze water? No. Wind chill is only no, because the wind chill, that's just accounting for how humans feel in it. No. The actual temperature needs to be 32. Yeah. Let's see. What's the storm going through Ohio at the end of February look like? Yeah, it depends what model you look like. I mean, you look at, here's, the Euro doesn't have this as a major system, but the Euro has this, I mean, look, the Euro has a 971 millibar low moving up the coast here. I mean, that could end up being a big nor'easter right there. You can see how the GFS sees this. Because you're not going to look, this isn't going to end up exactly how this radar shows it. Here's what the GFS thinks. I mean, this would be this would be like a foot or two of snow across the entire state of Ohio if that were to happen. Too far out, we'll watch it. And then this would be major snow for New England and portions of the Mid-Atlantic as well, potentially. But again, this could end up being more of a, like this. It could take that type of route. It could dive more as well. There's plenty of options with this storm right now because it's out 180 plus. So don't believe anyone if they say, hey, look what happens at the end of this GFS as well. just for fun, I'll show you. Dallas, Houston snow. Snow down into like New Orleans, the Florida Panhandle, Atlanta, coastal South Carolina, Charlotte. I mean, crazy things are still possible. Crazy things are possible with how cold it's going to be. And then the GFS is like, hey, why not like why not throw more snow down into the south potentially? So, yeah, the GFS is going wild. I don't think it's too wild based on the setup we have. It's not out of the question. We could see snow get pretty far south in March, but we need to wait a little bit longer. That's pretty far out in the run, but our troughing patterns look strong. Doesn't La Nina on average produce more tornadoes anywhere east of the Rockies? Well, tornadoes are just rare west of the Rockies in general. It doesn't matter what Enzo cycle we're in. But when we're in a La Nina, we typically have a weakened jet stream, and we get what's called meridional troughing more often. So when we're in a La Nina, instead of having a strong... What the heck is going on here? Hello? There we go. When we're in a La Nina, instead of having a strong subtropical jet down here with kind of a strong, polar jet flow up here, which doesn't give you a lot of warm and cold air convergence, doesn't give you a really steep, that's your El Nino look. When we get into a Enzo neutral to a La Nina, your jet stream weakens and starts to kind of wobble up here to the north. It starts to get unstable. And this is when you get cold air being pushed down into warm air. Warm air up into cold air, and this is when you get a lot of instability through the U.S., especially in these regions where you have, this is typically going to be more from cold air being pushed down. Dixie Alley is going to be cold air from Canada with warm, moist air from the Gulf. But what happens over your south central plains is you get the cold and warm air interaction when you have this La Nina and this really weird... It's kind of like this. Imagine you have a jet stream going like this, and you have cold air pushing down into the south central plains. You've got warm air moving up from the Gulf here, so you have this cold and warm air interacting. That already causes a lot of instability and a lot of lift. But what happens out here, too, is you have desert dry air here under a ridge, if a ridge is set like this. So now you have moist air interacting with dry air. This is our dry line. Interacting with cold air, interacting with warm air. So much instability. La Ninas help to... Enzo neutrals and La Ninas promote more instability through this region because of that. Whereas an El Nino tends to have a little bit of a tighter jet stream down here and a tighter jet stream up to the north, and you don't get as significant interactions. Although you can. It's just on average. You can have big tornado outbreaks in an El Nino season. It's not the same, but yes, La Ninas typically can be a little bit more dangerous. And weak La Ninas, Enzo neutrals to weak La Ninas have historically been pretty bad for tornado outbreaks going into spring. So that's why we're a little bit worried about this one, because that's what we're in. Going on vacation to Colorado, 3-4 to 310, driving from Illinois. What's the weather? It's too far out to know. Yeah, over 2 weeks out. We don't know. Models, want. If I were to just look at the GFS and take it at its word, we'd have a massive blizzard dropping 3 feet of snow into the plains in Colorado during that time. But this is probably going to change. It's way too far out. Models do think that there's going to be... I can almost trust the troughing pattern. I think you may get pretty cold out west during that time frame, but I don't know what's going to happen with moisture out there. I don't know what's going to happen with moisture. What is even happening with the ice in the south? HRRR and NAM agree, but... Oh, down there? I haven't been paying attention to it much, if I'm being honest. Let's go. Take a look at this. In Texas, yeah, I don't see like any. I said that the other day when we were looking at this. The Euro thinks like none. What does the HRRR see? 1 second, guys. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about anything. At this point, I either want a giant snowstorm or no more snow at this point, right? Warm it up or give me a or dump a blizzard on me. I agree. I agree. How's skiing going? How's skiing going to be in PA? Icy or powdery for March? Well, there's a couple chances for good snow in Allegheny Plateau in March, so hopefully powdery. You'll have a chance for some powdery conditions. Above average chance, I'd say. How is Jersey for tomorrow's snow? Are you? I don't know. You guys could get a dusting or to an inch if you get lucky. I don't think we're gonna see much out there. I don't think we're gonna see much out there. Let me see here. You know, this is just a clipper moving through. We can zoom down here. I mean, if you guys want it, this is kind of unimpressive snow, but we can go take a look at it. Let's go to our Euro first. What does our Euro think as this thing shifts over? Let me move this over so you guys can see it better. You know, yeah, Euro thinks a dusting, 0.2 inches. We can go to our short range models. I haven't really been talking about this because it's not supposed to be much. You know, if you get a good band, maybe someone gets an inch out here. But you have to get pretty lucky. HRRR thinks, you know, we could get an inch out here if we're lucky with some banding. Thinks some areas in the Allegheny Plateau could push 2 or 3 if you get some lucky banding. Chef, I appreciate you. Kingston was supposed to drop half a foot on Williamsburg. It literally choked. Never trusting again. Kingston was supposed to drop half a foot. Wait, what? Oh, Williamsburg. Wait. Let me see. Virginia? How much did you guys get in Williamsburg, Virginia? Let's wrap this up so we can lay out in 90-degree weather. What are the totals looking like in Virginia Beach and Norfolk? That's what I want to know. I'm gonna look up some of these snow totals real quick. They're not gonna be finished reporting, but I do want to look them up. Via Beach has 12 inches plus. Let me see what's going on. Oh yeah. Do you guys remember what I said? Do you guys remember what I said about the area I thought that the European was way underdoing? You guys remember where I said? I said there's no way this area ends up with 5 to 7. I said you guys remember I said you guys could push 10 inches to a foot? And it's still snowing there. Remember where I said? Yeah, I told you. Now, you guys are even outperforming more than I thought. I was thinking you guys are going to end up 10, 11. The Euro was like, you're going to get 7, 8 inches. And I was like, I think you could push 10 or 11 inches. Some of you may end up, yeah, like you said, more than that. I'm already seeing 10.5 inches, and it's still snowing. So, we were talking about Raleigh, Durham. You guys got good snow there. Another area I said I thought would overperform, so that's pretty good. What were we saying through there? What, 2 to 4? So we did. We saw some good overperformances in this region. Overperformances in this region. Pretty good. Yeah, we kind of saw them where we thought we would. Especially here, though. This low, I mean, the low is actually strengthening right now off the coast. So you're just getting, you're going to keep piling snow here for a little bit. That's awesome. I'm glad that worked out like that. I had a feeling the Euro was underdoing that. Yeah, man, there's still heavy snow over Virginia Beach. Let me just look at this real quick for you guys. Norfolk, you guys, east side of Norfolk's, it's coming down. And you got another huge band coming into Virginia Beach in like 30 minutes that could drop another inch or two. Holy crap. Sorry, I'm looking at the radar. 1 second, guys. This right here is your heavy snow. Norfolk, I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Out east, this is moving out east towards Virginia Beach. This is going to be, yeah. Chesapeake's about to get a lot more. Could see some more through Hampton as well. You can see what it looks like on the winter weather, but you can really see where the heavy bands are there. You can kind of see it on here. You can kind of see our heavy band here. This could be moving up to the north and east. Our low is off the coast right now. Deepening and kind of turning up, which is why we may see some heavy back end banding through here as well. That's crazy. That's awesome. I know a lot of people wanted that snow there. Well, you guys down in Virginia Beach almost got double the amount of snow as Philadelphia this year. Philadelphia, Jersey, more snow than Pittsburgh. You guys got more snow than Minneapolis. We knew it'd be good for someone this year with the setup we had out east in the Mid-Atlantic. Let me 1 second. Let me get back out here, guys. 1 second. Let me zoom out. Do we have okay, icon 00Z. Let me adjust this real quick and let me switch screens. All right, let me take some questions. Let me just try to answer as many questions as I can really quickly here. Go back GFS. It's so hard to, I'm always moving stuff around so much. Chance I don't want any chances of snow if they're going to miss me. I know, right? It's too heart-wrenching. Major southern snow in Texas specifically, yes, there's a possibility for that. We were showing that earlier. I mean, you can see the GFS wants it. That doesn't mean it's going to happen. This is a future radar. But, you know, here's some chances for snow down in the south. Our 12Z GFS went crazy with this, putting a lot of snow into Texas multiple times. So, and that's a fresh data run. So I can't tell you what's going to happen that far out with moisture, but we'll have some cold air troughing that will allow the chance for snow back down in the south, including into Texas. Could you explain why the 12Z NAM yesterday was so far off? 12Z NAM yesterday? What was it showing? I feel like that's kind of what happened. Where was it off? Are you talking about the shorter NAM? Our NAM 3K? Fade? It especially did pretty good down here. And kind of through Durham, Raleigh. Feds, I appreciate you. What's going on, dude? What was our NAM 3K showing at 12Z yesterday? That was yesterday's. Oh, duh. Like back towards Tuesday? Duh. Tuesday. Oh my God. That was Tuesday's 12Z? Yeah. I don't know. Well, I do know. I've said this in a lot of my live streams. We've seen the NAM do this like 6 times like every winter storm this season. out 48 hours out still, it's pulling things way too far north. That's why I said in one of my earlier streams in the week I would cut off the entire top of the snow here. I cut off even more. The NAMS, I can't explain why it's doing it. It's been hugging north all winter. And the HRRR has been hugging. The HRRR has been erasing snow to the south that should be there. And the NAM has been putting snow in the north that shouldn't be there. But these are just things we start to learn about the models. So the NAM, in a lot of these snowstorms, trends north. We saw it happen earlier in the season, Fade, as well, when the NAM said there was going to be no snow into North Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, or Georgia, and then Atlanta got 4 inches down here, and the NAM had 0 inches through this entire area, and we had snow that went like this. It was such a major miss, like 24 hours out, literally 24 hours out, and we've seen it all year. The NAM's been messing up with the northern trend. The NAM 3K, though, has been doing pretty well. The short 3-kilometer model. Not doing too bad. I know, it's annoying. I feel like this is a bad year for the NAM. Yeah, but if you listen to me, Fade, we didn't think there was too much. I didn't talk about that much because the odds didn't look too good. I didn't bring that model up too much because the odds didn't look good to me. I know 2 days ago I wasn't telling you were going to get 8 inches in central New Jersey. Amounts for Salisbury, Maryland? Where is that? I live up here. Shouldn't I know where these cities are? Oh, you guys got some snow falling into you right now. Some lighter stuff. The snow's going to be moving out soon. I don't really know how much more you're going to get here. I guess I can go look into the HRRR for you. Just to see what you got left, potentially. What does our HRRR think we have left in Southern Maryland? Half inch. Nice. Heck yeah, Aaron. Let's see. You guys got, what'd you guys end up with? Like 4 or 5 inches? HRRR thinks another inch could fall through there, actually. Why do people always tell me to say that? I don't feel like it. It is false. So yeah. The NAM's If we're gonna have some more chances out here for snow in March, I promise you guys. I promise you, we're gonna have some more chances for snow out here in March and the Ohio Valley Midwest. Maybe down here, we'll see. It's gonna be wintry moving into March, but just remember the NAM's gonna hug. The NAM's probably gonna be farther north than it should be. It's been like that all winter. Something's wrong. How much more snow Virginia Beach for tonight? Another couple inches, I think, are possible, which is crazy to say. Yes, Connor says every day. I love that, Aaron. Love it. That's awesome. Tell him I said what's up. Do you believe the government induces weather? No, I don't. The scale, people don't understand this, how the scale of the earth. We don't have the capability. Every human being, if they stood shoulder to shoulder, could fit in the city of Los Angeles. We don't have as much control over our climate as we think we do. Humans give ourselves too much credit. we need a lot more people and a lot more energy than we have currently to affect some of these things. These systems are way bigger than we understand. I mean, the atmosphere goes up. We live in the troposphere, very slim bottom atmosphere. There's so much going on above us. It's an inconceivable amount of real estate above our heads, and it's very hard to manipulate. It would be cool if we could like nuke hurricanes one day, right? I just don't think it's gonna happen in my lifetime. Yeah, do, Aaron. Definitely do. What are the temps in Indiana on the 28th? Oh yeah, 8-9 days out. I guess we'll take a look at what we're thinking there. Let's take a look at what our year. Let's say our year is going to do the best with temperatures in that time frame. What'd you say, the 28th? Let's take a look at what our 12Z Euro thinks for temperatures. Indiana? Well, what we'll do is look at temperature anomalies because that'll be exact temperature is going to be tough. Big cool down. Big trough pushing in around the 28th. That would be freezing, right? That would be 20 degrees below average through all of Indiana. I think GFS sees this at the exact same time. It may be off by 24 hours. But I think the GFS sees this at a similar time. Yeah, GFS sees it a little bit after and a little bit to the east, but both these models still have pretty far below average at that time frame. I mean, if we were to look at what Euro wind chills are like for Indiana during that time, let's see. On the 28th, getting down to the single digits. Let's see here. We'll take a look at this. Tucson temps in March. Man, you guys are supposed to be warm out there. You guys, from what we can see right now, look like you're going to be warm out there out west. We can take a look at our European ensembles. We'll just do surface temperatures, anomalies. Look what happens as we go into March. Look at this ridging out west to kick it off. But it does look like we're going to have a big troughing system moving down through here potentially in the first week of March. So we'll watch that. Warm start. Most models see this to start March. Most models see freezing air out here, above average temperatures out here. We'll see what happens here. There is an idea of a big kind of sweeping trough across the country here, almost zonal cold air. This is a little extreme, but you know, based on the way our EPO is looking, I think we may stay warm here through the whole first week of March, and then as we get into the second, we might cool down again. But we can see what the GFS thinks for this time frame as well. Pushing into March, pretty warm out west, and then again, it's weird. It sees the same thing. It sees a big. This is the type of cold air pattern that would bring you snow down here. Why is that? Well, this is where our instability is with our warm and cold air. You would have potentially, if you were to see, a temperature anomaly swing like this, you would potentially see a system. You would have the potential to see a system riding up the coast here. So this is interesting, and the GFS sees that. But this would be such a major trough, and such a massive collapse of cold air. This would probably be our polar jet diving down. That I want to wait a little bit more time before really taking it too seriously. But it's possible. We have model consensus on it, which is pretty crazy that far out. Model 3, what's going on? They need to redo Long Island atmosphere. Oh, the government. We are at 9 inches so far in Chesapeake, Virginia, by the way. Are you guys... Yeah. You guys actually have huge snow moving in right now, too. A very strong band. You might get another 2 inches. My eyes been twitching lately. I think it's because I'm drinking too much energy drinks. It always happens when I drink too many energy drinks. My eye starts twitching. It's like a crack addiction. I'm like, I'm malfunctioning from caffeine. Well, I don't think it's the caffeine. It's the other bad stuff in it. I need to slow down. And Deke, what's going on? I appreciate you. High winds? Yeah, we can look at winds. We can look at where our winds are moving. Some decent gusts in the southeast moving into the weekend and then pushing up the coast. Mid-Atlantic, New England, we could get some decent windy weather Friday, Saturday as well. And then we've got the wind's going to be where our low pressure is moving typically. So then we've got another system moving through up here, bringing some pretty strong winds. Nothing crazy, but definitely some windy weather. The Pacific Northwest looks like it's going to have potential for hurricane force gusts as we get into Monday night and Tuesday morning. This is an interesting look out here. That's going to be associated with a lot of moisture as well. And then through Wyoming. And then we'll have to see what happens out here. This is a little far out, but this would be a major wind event for us. This is where our GFS sees the potential for a nor'easter. Our Euro sees the potential for a big New England storm or Midwestern storm. This would pack a punch with winds as well. I think there's a chance for one more snow in the south. I do, Feds. I would actually take the over on that if I was betting. We have a good pattern for a snow. You know what? Yes. We've not had snow. Correct me if I'm wrong, below the Tennessee border in March in quite a while, right, guys? Have we? I don't think we have. I can't remember in the last few years. I don't think we have. At least 3-4 years. I do predict. I do think we're gonna get some snow down below this line. That, where Dallas is potentially, Atlanta potentially. What's that? Why do I always freak Birmingham? It's more like down here. And Charlotte. I think we're going to have a chance in March down here. I'm going to say yes. I'll take the over. This is not because the GFS shows it. I don't care what the GFS shows 200 hours out. It's not going to happen like that. But we just have we have what looks to be a collapse of the polar jet in March. And we talked about, we had a split in a huge stretch of the stratospheric polar vortex, and I've been telling you guys how there's usually a big lagging event with the surface cold air after that happens, and that's going to be coming around in March. So I do think this is a year we get another big one. We do, again, we've had major snowstorms in March in the South many times in history, many times in the 2010s and 2000s. We haven't had one in 2020s, and I think this is probably the best setup for it, so I do think so. Appreciate the follows and subs, guys. No more wind in the mid-Atlantic. Yeah, we don't see any, my power was out for 6 to 8 hours the other night because of that wind. Knocked our power out here. So we don't see that type of wind. But we'll have some gusty weather this weekend. Not like the wind we just had, Fade. Not like that wind. Wind chill maps for early March. It depends what model you look at, but they're going to be cold. I mean, this is more just a bulk of cold air, but you can see. Here's our GFS on March 2nd into March 3rd. That's your that was a little bit high. But this is the wind chill freezing line out there. It's very far south. Look at this, out into March 7th. You can see back in here. We're going to have some opportunities for very cold air. This is a wind chill freezing line right here in March. Down at the Gulf. We're not seeing those crazy temps up here in the plains. but we're seeing the freezing air getting very close. Actual temperatures into March. We're still seeing with actual temperatures the chance of getting, again, freezing air down into the south. You know, this would be a push of freezing air right here down into Florida, actual temps. It's possible with the setup we have. We went over that in the beginning. For anyone who missed it, couple things that are really sticking out here. One, our GFS. One, our Euro. Here? Let's move it here. Here is our Euro weeklies. Here is our. Can I get into? There we go. So, this is interesting. Let me actually. There we go. Let me look at some of these. These are interesting weeklies, suggesting a neutral to negative EPO into March would be ridging out west, ridging in the Eastern Pacific. We see what's happening here on our Euro ensemble with our EPO. This is what I explained in the beginning. This is a downtrend in the EPO into March, all the way through the March 7th, and it still looks like it's going south. We see the same thing happening on the GFS, but it's even more drastic. Same thing happening on the GFS. Just to show you guys exactly what that represents. Kyle, I appreciate that. Shout out Kimber. What's going on, Kelly? Confused Blom, what's up? So just to show you guys what that looks like at our, let's look at our 500 millibar height anomaly. I explained this in my video today. But this is what that looks like. It's your EPO, Eastern Pacific Oscillation. When it goes negative, this air goes up. When it goes negative, you get ridging here. And when you get ridging here, you get your cold air and your winter. You get kind of northwesterlies pushing this cold air down from the Arctic and Canada. And you get the opportunity for very cold air very far south and a wintry pattern out here. I'd want to see a pretty negative NAO as well, because that means we have blocking out to our east. That would be a major omega block. And that's when you can get 4 or 5 winter storms across the central plains and across the east. And I think we may get some active winter weather up in the Pacific Northwest as well. And if we take a look at our NAO, let's go to our GFS NAO. It's weird. I mean, we're not seeing that. It doesn't mean we're not going to get super cold air down into the south central, especially down into the southeast. But what's going to happen with these systems if we have no sort of blocking out to our east? That's what I'm interested to see. I think we're going to see our NAO go negative, and I explained that in the beginning of the stream. Just with how we have other things setting up, when you have this much cold air collapsing into the states, you typically have a weakening of your Icelandic high and Icelandic low and Azores high out here. You typically have a weakening there. And that's what builds a ridge. And so they're not showing a major ridge out there yet. But I'm going to be interested to see what happens over the next few days, because if we were to see, and if we do see the trend that I think we're going to see, I think we're going to end up we could end up in a major omega block, which would be great, which is why I think we may see our first big winter storm down in the south in March in years. But we'll see. Maybe the NAO doesn't trend negative. And if the NAO doesn't trend negative, I still think we're going to have a very cold start to March. We'll have to see what happens with the winter weather if the NAO doesn't trend negative, but I think it will. Clip that. One second, guys. There we go. Done. Okay. Sorry, let me get back. Let's get back to our precipitation map. 00Z GFS is coming out. It's not going to show us much interesting stuff yet. It's early. And like a lamb, out like a lion. Buffalo has... What's up, Julie? Buffalo has had a winter weather advisory for tomorrow, I believe. What do you see? We see, yeah, we see just a bunch of cold air and like clipper snow moving through the area. You could get... Let's go and let's zoom in a little bit up there. I like how our NAM 3K has been treating things lately. Some snow into Buffalo. Doesn't look major. Let's go to our 24-hour snowfall. 3 to 4 inches to the south of Buffalo. I think you could end up with more, but this is kind of just a clipper system. I think it has to do with... We can take a look at our winds as well. Yeah, so you've got some strong gusty winds, some very freezing air, and the chance for a few inches of snow. It's nothing major. It's a weak winter weather advisory. Nothing that you guys haven't seen, but the combination of events, it's going to be very cold with some winds, with some gusty winds, and the potential for a little bit of accumulation. So I'm surprised for Buffalo that's a winter weather advisory. I feel like that's nothing for you guys. Any stuff for North Carolina in March, Connor? Yeah, I've been talking about it. I think there is a possibility. That's what we've been talking about. Oh crap, I gotta get back into that. The GFS 12Z from today put snow everywhere to kick off March. Look what the GFS does in March. Just take this with a huge grain of salt, guys. This isn't going to happen like this, but I'm just because the cold pattern we have, the possibilities, it's interesting to look at. That's just the March 7th on the GFS, right? Where it thinks the possibility of snow is. We'll see this change a million times. It's just not crazy to see a chance for snow in the south with this pattern heading into March. Oh, what's up, Cody's wife? That's funny. I gotta look at something real quick, guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Oh crap, I forgot that. 1 second, guys. Almost done. All right. Okay, I think I'm good. I'm back. So said, well, because yeah, right. This is like the clickbaitiest. If someone's scrolling past my stream right now, they're like, "Whoa, could this happen?" 0% chance this is going to happen. Could something like this happen? Yes. Obviously, you can't just go out you can't go out 16 days on the GFS and expect this to happen. Ridging out west is going to happen. Lock it in. We're going to see ridging out west. Our EPO is going to go negative. European doesn't mess up on the troughing very often 7 days out. So I'd expect cold air to be sinking into here. End of February into March. How much does it sink? How amplified is that trough is going to determine if this snows down here or further up. How negative is our NAO? Do we have a very strong pressure gradient out there between Iceland and the Azores, or do we have a very weak pressure gradient? How strong? If we have a very negative NAO, and this ridge is going to happen. If we have a very negative NAO, that's the only thing that needs to happen, which I think we might. This air is going to sink very far south. And what happens in March, and why we've seen some of our biggest nor'easters in history and southern southern snowstorms in history in March, just including 93 snowstorm, which I'm not saying we're going to get that, but is because this water's starting to get warm in March. You're starting to get a lot more energy off the Gulf. So the opportunity for something major in March for very, very heavy snowfall in March is good if you have the right pattern to bring the cold air down south, which a lot of times you don't in March. A lot of times you start to warm up here as well. This winter, by the way, if you guys didn't know, if you watch me, you do know, we had the coldest January since 1988 in the United States. Emerald, I appreciate that. And that does something to the land. That does something to the surface. The coldest winter since 1988. What is that? 35 years? That can prime cold air to sink farther into March because your land mass takes time as a whole to warm up and cool down. We saw and we see what's happening right now in February. Some record-breaking cold is going on right now for the date, not all time, for the date, which again is cooling the landmass, even if it's to the north. When the surface air moves in March, there's going to be lagging cold air in the continent above on the surface. And that's going to allow that air to sink a little bit farther in March. We've seen, when we've seen huge snowstorms in March, we've seen very cold, below average trends in the months leading up to it. So, if we have that, we're likely going to be in that negative EPO, especially if we get in a negative NAO. We're going to have the opportunity for something special down here. We'll see. The cold air, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned with my cold air forecast entering March. The precipitation's tough, especially when I'm not seeing a majorly negative NAO, but everything leads me to believe that NAO is going to go negative, and we could see something wacky down there and back out towards the plains, anywhere out here. We'll see what happens out in the Pacific Northwest. Obviously, some of these models love getting snow back into the Rockies. We'll see. The globals agree on just a massive dip in the polar jet across the entire country moving into the second week of March, which would be like crazy for everyone. There's a lot of different outcomes, but the most likely outcome right now based on our globals is a below average start to March out here with ridging out west. There's a lot of things that got away. Still snowing in Virginia? You said Norfolk had 4? But Norfolk has way more than 4. Yeah, because there's places almost at a foot of snow around Virginia Beach. No, Virginia Beach has more than that, Jane. We were looking at totals. These totals lag behind. These are official totals. And they lag. They're like an hour behind. So you need to add an hour to snow to some of these. And we're seeing some snow totals out here in Virginia Beach over 9 inches, 9.5. Norfolk 10.5. These are going to go up because this is as of an hour ago. 10.5 around Virginia Beach, 9.5 around Virginia Beach. That's going to go up. I think we're going to hit a foot somewhere. In Hampton, Virginia, 10. Yeah. Yeah, I see this is still lagging here. Hampton, Virginia right now shows our biggest total is 7 inches, but this is almost an hour or two ago. So snow for Philly looks over. Temp is 40 plus. But Buzz, did you just join the live? Snow for Philly is not over. Buzz. Ay. Let's look at our European ensembles. Okay. Let's get Buzz Tiger up to date here. Let's catch him up. Let's look at our surface temperature anomalies through the next 10 days. On our greatest temperature, on our best temperature model, global. This is all the way through March 6th, and they start to average out at the end. Look at this cold air. This is just through March 1st. Look at these temperature anomalies. Buzz, our temperatures are going to drop. Yes, we have a very brief warming period, but it's very brief. I'll show you. 4 or 5 days maybe. We knew this was going to... This always happens after a major cold blast. Here we go. Here's where we are right now. Let's just go... Actually, let's just go into our... Here we go. Cold air moves out. We get a big warm-up from coast to coast across the entire country. This makes sense. We have kind of a zonal flow. The polar jet is strengthening here for a little bit, holding the cold air up there. Polar jet's very far north. And then here comes the sinking air again. Right now on our Euro, it thinks that Philly's going to be 30 degrees below average on March 1st. If you think that is warm... I mean, these models can see temperature-wise pretty far out, much farther than... So, some people are like, why are you looking at the end of the model? They can see out here much better temperature-wise than they can see precipitation-wise. Precipitation-wise, you really want to be in here. It's just a more localized type event instead of a macro type event. I don't care what any model says, Weather Boy. I know, Kyle. Well, there's always hope. We've had lots of hope this year. We've had so many good chances for a big snow through Philly through the New York City corridor. Little wiggles can mess up your entire winter. Talk to Minneapolis. They average 50 inches a year. They have like 8 this year. Any snowstorm coming to Maryland anytime soon? Could in March. We've been looking at that. Charlotte area. What's Charlotte area looking at tomorrow? Just some cold air. You should dry up. Should be nice and dry. Probably a little bit windy. Let's look at what our winds are behind this system. Yeah, some windy conditions tomorrow. Pushing in afternoon time. 30, 40 mile per hour gusts. It's going to be very cold with the wind chills there. Look at our wind chills down in Charlotte tomorrow. Into the afternoon tomorrow, man. Your wind chill high tomorrow in Charlotte's 20. Your high, if you look at with your wind chill tomorrow in Charlotte, is 27 degrees. And then going into Friday night, it looks like your wind chills want to get down to almost the single digits, almost down to 9, 10 degrees. So it's going to be cold and dry and windy heading into the weekend. If your weather app should be able to see that, that's close enough. Your weather app's bad with a bunch of stuff, but it should be able to see that. Snow in Charlotte overnight again? Not looking like it. We're not really seeing a positive NAO. So, what happens to storm tracks in a what happens to storm tracks in a positive NAO? I was reading that wrong. Well, what can happen is what can happen in a positive NAO is you've got, say we do stay in a positive NAO, but we're still in our negative EPA, our negative EPO. So then we're gonna have we're gonna have some ridging out here. Let me zoom out so you guys can see this, the possibilities here. We're gonna have some warm air building out here. We're gonna allow cold air to sink through here. You'd really have northwesterly with the negative. You'd really have northwesterly winds. It'd be more of a sinking air like this. And a lot of times this ridge with this EPO kind of blends into, is a little bit farther east. I'll try to draw this as accurately as I can to start off March. Northwesterlies, bringing in cold air. Bringing in cold, dry air. The dry part is important because when you get dry air running into moist air here, that's when you get instability and when you get snowstorms. So, if you have blocking, if you have a negative NAO with this type of pattern, you're going to have a ridge building out here, and these storms are going to they're going to want to tilt. They're going to run into this ridge and they're going to want to tilt, and this is going to help strengthen these low pressure systems. And a lot of times with that, you get storms going up the coast, big snowstorms into New England. You can get big southern snowstorms. If you don't have that ridge out to the east, what can happen is you can get this cold air moving down, interacting. You get a storm starting to form, but it's weak because it's not pushing into this warm air out into the east. And sometimes what you get is you just get kind of like a zonal flow type of a storm where you just see the isobars start to flatten out and these storms move off the coast. They don't want to tilt. They don't want to negatively tilt. They don't want to strengthen. You don't see these lows want to bomb out. You get a little bit of rain, maybe a little tiny bit of snow down here, and they move off the coast. If you want to see a big nor'easter or big southern snowstorm, you kind of want that ridge built with that negative NAO out here. North Atlantic Oscillation. It just really increases the chances that these things are going to negatively tilt, move up the coast, move into New England. If this negative EPO is even farther out in the Pacific, right? If we have a ridge set up like this, we get this cold air in, we get a negative NAO out here, then you're getting these through the Midwest, through the plains, maybe into Texas. Without this ridge, you just get more of a flat pattern. The storms aren't as impressive. So we want that negative NAO. It's the key. Local weatherman said maybe up to an inch of snow in the morning around 7 a.m. Really? Brad said that? Brandon? Did Brad say that? Am I missing something? Let's go look. He's seeing this clipper because this is actually another low pressure here that's associated with this trough and this cold air. It doesn't have a big warm shield pushing up into it, creating a lot of enhanced snow, but it does have, we were talking about this earlier, it does have some energy with it, some light snow, because we don't have a bunch of warm air pushing into it. I guess there's a possibility, yeah. You can see what it wants to do. There's potential. And that snow would stay on the ground all day. You're going to be cold. So you're going to be cold that if snow does fall, you're going to be so cold tomorrow that if snow does fall, it will accumulate pretty quickly. So if you get a little banding with that clipper action with this low pressure, bringing in that cold air behind you, it's possible. I think the heavier stuff from that's going to be up here, but that's a tough call. I think you'd be really lucky if you got an inch. Yeah, that was Charlotte I was talking about. There's a lake effect snowband happening in Indianapolis. Is that going on right now? What's going on in Indianapolis right now? Oh. Well, that's not a lake effect band. There's a little band moving over Indianapolis right now. Lake effect? Yeah, I think Philly's going to get more snow this year, I do. We'll have to see how much, but the setup's pretty good for see more snow. What's going on, Pam? Sorry, I'm looking at this band moving over Indianapolis. Kind of decent band of snow moving over Indianapolis. I don't see it as a lake effect band. I saw Dallas was getting some, was it Dallas or was it somewhere else? I think it was Dallas that was getting some lake effect to its west today. I thought that was pretty interesting. Could Bucks get a dusting to an inch tomorrow? Yeah, it could. with that. There's going to be some light snow moving through the area. Are we going to see any negative NAO in March? I think so. Yeah. The cold in Iowa is crazy. Yeah, I bet. I bet. Let's look. Take a look at Iowa real quick. So these aren't wind chills. These are actual temps right now. In Iowa, we're seeing up to negative 13, negative 14 degrees in Iowa, and that's not even wind chills. So you guys are what, negative 20 and 30s with wind chill? Let me just give you a few hundred likes. Eat there, what's going on? Pam with the goat. I appreciate you, Pam. You think Texas is getting another big southern snowstorm in the beginning of March? You know, normally I would say probably not, but with this outlook, it's possible. I don't think you have a great chance. I mean, the East is. I think if we're gonna see snow, it's chances are better through here. Maybe we get something in here. Maybe we get something down here. Second week of March, we see what looks to be like a major polar jet collapse. That would be your chance there. And that's when also, that's actually when, like, getting into the 6th to the 8th of March, that's at the end of these runs, we see some models wanting to bring snow down here. So, that's it. That you know, that could be interesting. Pam with the future encounter. Another one I've never seen. Pam, you do not have to do that. I appreciate you. Thank you, Pam. How's everything going there? What's our temperatures like over there in the Kansas is really cold tonight too. Jeez. These are actual temperatures, negatives. You've got central Nebraska, negative 21 degrees without wind chill. You've got Omaha around negative 10 without wind chill. Yeah, I can't see this. Let's see. I see a negative 9 right now in Omaha. This is from the Storm Prediction Center mesoscale analysis. So, actually, are you guys a little? Oh no, you guys are a little bit farther. I always think you guys are a little bit farther north on here. So this actually sees a negative 7 there. Do you think New Jersey has a chance for a nor'easter? Yeah, there's going to be a chance for a nor'easter in March, definitely with the setup we have. You know, it's just too far out to call who's going to get it, or if we're going to get it. I asked them why they said it was lake effect, and they said the broad light snowfall was moving to the east while the band is moving south. Interesting. Yeah, because I was looking at that snow. I was looking at that on the radar, and it doesn't look like lake effect because it's the whole. It kind of does. Okay. Here, let me show you. Let me show you guys something here. I mean, how it was described, how you just described it made sense, because this right here looks like a lake effect band. It's just a straight line lake effect band. The problem with it is it's moving east. Lake effect's just moving one line. To, you know, and they don't move horizontal like that. They move like vertical with the line of snow. But it could have came off a lake, and now the winds are pushing it east. So I guess so. I'm not. That's very, very weird. But yeah, I mean, it does look like a lake effect band, but it is about to move over Indianapolis. It's gonna be quick though. Not gonna last very long. I love how we always have people from like all over in these streams. Everyone's pointing some stuff out that I don't even know that's going on because there's so much always going on. Enhancement in the forcing associated with the system producing the light snow and flurries. Yeah. Yeah, it's like the lake effect band came off, and now it's just being pulled out to the east with these winds. March 3rd. Hey, let's look at our new 00Z GFS real quick. Okay, it's not loaded out enough, but listen, we don't know what's going to happen precipitation-wise March 3rd, but we do know that we're expected to be pretty cold out east around that time. We're expecting a lot of different troughing cold air moving into the country, so we're going to have a lot of warm cold air interaction to kick off March. So it's probably going to be pretty stormy. I would expect it to be probably colder out east. Do you have the potential snowfall totals for the states in the southeast? What, for March? We can't get into snowfall totals. We'll have a chance for some snow down in the south, I think, in March, but it's too far out for totals because we don't know if we're going to have the storm or not. We just know we have a good setup for it. That's because we're more accurate than some of the news meteorologists, so we'd rather go to your weather from you. I appreciate you, Leanne. Are we getting snow in New York tomorrow? Yeah. Why does everyone keep thinking, guys, there's snow moving through the Northeast tomorrow, but it's very light. It's a little clipper. It's associated with we don't even like this snow, okay? This is the snow associated with this, well, people down in Virginia Beach do, with this low that steered the storm away from us in the mid-Atlantic, or in the northern mid-Atlantic. It's not associated with any strong, we're not having any big warm air interaction, pumping this snow up. So this isn't going to be any sort of significant convection moving through the Northeast. It's going to be light. Someone maybe gets lucky and gets a few inches, but most people, this is going to be a dusting to a half inch. Most people. Mountains, elevation. If you're near the lake, you're going to get a little bit more elevation near the lake, but most people aren't going to see much from this. Again, same with you down in South Carolina. The same piece of energy that's trailing our actual snowstorm is moving out to the east. Maybe you get a dusting to a half an inch if you get lucky in northern South Carolina. You definitely need luck on your side for this because it's not really a strong storm. M. Rose, I appreciate you. What's going on, Fav? Yeah, Charlotte could see a dusting tomorrow, up to a half inch. I mean, it could see up to an inch if you get lucky. Yeah, Bucks could as well. I appreciate you, Confused Blonde. You're in here a lot. I say that in a good way. So many people I always recognize in all my streams. Shout out to y'all. Head to bed. Have a good night. I'll be back on tomorrow. You know it. Wait, is tomorrow? Yeah. I was like, maybe I'll take off this Friday. I like going to Buffalo Wild Wings on Friday nights. I haven't been doing it lately. Any more snow for Raleigh? Yeah, I mean, you could get a little dusting to a half inch tomorrow with this snow band moving through that we've been talking about. But if you're talking about in March, we'll have some chances for snow back down into the South and Mid-Atlantic again. It looks like with our troughing patterns and our atmospheric, our jet stream setup. Yeah, I always get 10. I get the Wild Wings. They're pretty dang hot. Is Southern California done with rain? Well, there's not much rain in your forecast here. Until we get really far out in the models, which isn't too accurate, approaching the second week of March, when we could have a low or two move through here. We can take a look at what our CPC thinks for you guys, precipitation wise. Look at this. Through March 1st, through March 5th, dry, and then maybe back to average. So it's going to be a little bit dry for a while. All right, I got to get up early. For work again, like always. So I'm going to head off. I'm going to post some updates tomorrow. I'm interested to see if the there's a look at potentially a big event out here in February 27th and 28th, which isn't too far away, just over a week. I want to see if our Euro model starts agreeing with our GFS on that. We'll see. I also think we're going to see our teleconnections downtrend into a negative NAO, which would mean which could have some big effects for our March outlook. So I'll give you guys updates on that tomorrow, and I'll be back online. Lately, we've been referring to you as TikTok weather guy to all my teacher friends. You haven't been wrong. Emily, I appreciate that. The TikTok weather guy, yeah. Listen, there's a lot of TikTok weather guys, right? Weather guys or weather girls. But yeah, you can put the in front of my name. That's fine with me. Yali, what's going on? I'm getting up. I preferred everyone to. I know, I need. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys. I love my chat. Everyone have a good night. I'll be posting updates tomorrow, and I'll be back on tomorrow. I wasn't on for that late or that long today. Only about an hour and a half. So I had to get on late. But I'll probably be on much earlier tomorrow. Everyone have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.